All right. Well, maybe the easiest way for me to introduce what I do in North Korea is to just show you a quick video. So if you don't mind, we'll run that.
Let's focus the camera on the screen. Okay. Oh, can I get a couple of volunteers to bring coffee for distinguished guests? Are you thirsty, right?
Water would be great.
Oh, water is better. Okay. Actually, that's true. You're foreigners. All right.
But I can live. I'd rather you guys see the video.
Actually, that's a good point. Go ahead and turn it on. I'll get the water.
Okay. All right, so that gives you a brief introduction to what I do in North Korea. My NGO is called Love North Korea Ministries, or LNKM for short. We call it LNKM because not everybody loves North Korea, so we just say LNKM. I got a website there. You're welcome to check that out, and it's bilingual if you are a Korean speaker. So I'll give you a few more details regarding what I do. Saw in there that we do medicine. We hand carry medicine through China to North Korea. And, oh, hey, the video went back on. Stop. How do I stop it? There we go. All right, let me, before I talk about medicine, let me ask you a question. In the current political realm, are the policies that the outside world takes towards North Korea effective in producing the desired outcomes? We can ask it this way. Is the Korean Peninsula a safer place today because of the policies that have been implemented, or a less safe place today because of the policies? why don't you think about those questions as we go through this discussion. And what I want to really frame up is the idea of engagement with North Korea. It's a very strategic time to engage with North Korea in through many different avenues that are open today. And what I'll share with you are humanitarian work avenues, business avenues, and tourist avenues. Those are only 3 of many avenues that are open in North Korea today. So beginning with the humanitarian side, what I do is I hand carry medicine from usually here in South Korea, though we do get donations from the States, and we take the medicine through China and then into North Korea. It's kind of touch and go going into China because they don't like us carrying large quantities of medicine through their travel, the points. So we have to be careful. We do get the medicine into North Korea, and it helps with hospitals, clinics, orphanages, old folks' homes, kindergartens, and the like. Just something as simple as ibuprofen is an amazing thing for them. You think, well, it's just something we buy for a headache or you hurt your shoulder. But they call it actually magic medicine because it magically takes all the pain away. Actually, they don't even take one. It's so valuable that they cut it into 4 pieces, and they take them a quarter at a time. One of my friends was delivering medicine to a clinic. She's Korean with U.S. citizenship, and she's a native Korean speaker. And one of these elderly ladies walks into the clinic, and she's begging the nurse for more ibuprofen. The nurse said, no, we can't give you any more ibuprofen because if we do, it would be unfair to the other people. And she said, you don't understand. I walked here 6 hours to get the medicine. Literally, 6-hour walk. And by the time that I have to come back, I will be out. I have so much pain. Can you please give me more? The nurse said, no way. So my friend was listening to this conversation, and as the woman walked out, she kind of went up beside her and said, do you need more magic medicine? And the lady said, oh, yes, I walked 6 hours to get here. They don't give me enough. She said, my friend said, meet me by the tree over here on Thursday. This was Monday. The lady said, I don't know when Thursday is. Just tell me how many times the sun will come up, and then I'll make sure to be there. So my friend told her, okay, this many days. She left North Korea, went back into China, purchased a big bottle of 200 caplets of ibuprofen, and she was going back in to the clinic. She was praying, oh, I hope the woman is there. And lo and behold, there was this lady sitting by the tree. And my friend had wrapped up the ibuprofen in a bag like it looked like trash because she knew she couldn't give it to her directly because they would both get in trouble. So she walked by, she kind of just threw the bag on the ground next to the woman, and she kind of scooped it up, and my friend continued on. And so this little thing, like ibuprofen, is so valuable in North Korea today. And this little thing that we think of just hand-carrying medicine has a huge impact to really help individuals improve their daily lives inside North Korea. Another area is coal. Yep.
We have the camera on the screen that capture privacy. Can you look at that?
That's good. Thank you.
If you feel like putting your face in there, then you can just look over.
Okay.
All right. Look.
Has anybody ever been up to Paju and looked across the DMZ into the north? If you go up there, you'll notice something. What did you notice? Yeah?
Yeah, but I have nothing to do.
Okay, but if you look across into North Korea, do you notice anything? There's no one there. There's also no trees on the mountains. All of the low mountains in North Korea have been stripped bare of trees. You can even see it from Paju. If you go up to China and look across many of the areas into the north, the low mountains, the trees are gone. And there's 2 reasons for this. The first reason is they cut down the trees for fuel over the hundreds and hundreds of years and did not replant them. Another reason is they tried to increase their areas for farming. And they've cut down a lot of the trees in the mountains, which has then produced flooding issues in North Korea today. And so there's always this fuel problem because they don't have enough fuel. And you see, when you travel through North Korea, you'll see little kids with a backpack, like a frame backpack with a bundle of sticks. And their job is to actually, after school, go and collect wood for their home heating and cooking uses. I've seen grandmas, women, everybody with these sticks, these bundles of sticks on their back. Sometimes they can't find sticks, so they just have a bag of leaves that they use to burn for fuel. And we found out that we can actually address this need very effectively by buying coal from inside North Korea. This is actually coal that's produced inside the North Korea coal mine. Unfortunately, we understand that many of the people who are doing this work are probably prisoners. However, the coal is available to us, and it's quite cheap. Actually, for 10 tons of coal, it's only about $35 US in the summer price for 10 tons of coal. It's for 1 ton of coal, I'm sorry. 1 ton of coal for $35. It's pretty cheap. During the high season, it goes up to about $60, $65 per ton, but we're able to buy a significant amount of coal for a really low price. It's unprocessed coal, which means that somebody is going to have to process that, and usually there's a man in a village who processes the coal into the round yonton, right? The coal thing that they normally burn in their cooking and heating needs. So that's a great way that we found to be able to impact people's lives. Rice aid is an interesting area because there's continuing food shortages in North Korea. Depends on who you are and where you are, how much you have. Of course, if you're in the cities and you're nearby the food distribution system and you're nearby the transportation areas, then you have greater access to more resources. But if you're out in the countryside, it's a lot of people, it's just fending for themselves. We take rice into North Korea 10 tons at a time, and there's a reason why we do it 10 tons at a time. One of the problems that we've seen with rice distribution inside NK is that when, say, the World Food Program brings a ship to Nampo and there's hundreds of thousands of tons of rice, how does that get distributed? Who does it? Do you know? The government. Actually, the military has the only capacity to transport that rice from the port to the warehouses. So who has their hands on it first? The military, of course. So it's very obvious that the rice, not all of the rice, is going to get directly into the hands of the people. What we found out is that if we take in 10 tons of rice or less at a time, actually the government will not interfere at all with our distribution. So we can guarantee that we get the rice into the hands of the people. So we do it through buying rice, buying rice in China primarily. And then we transport it into North Korea and deliver it to our partner NGOs that are on the ground. And we always verify delivery, which means that myself or one of my team goes in to make sure that rice got from China into our North Korean storage, our partner North Korean NGO storage inside North Korea. And the storage is controlled by the NGO. They hold the key to the lock, and they 100% are responsible for distribution. Primarily it goes to their NGO employees as part of their compensation package for work. So it's a great way to impact hearts and lives. It's difficult, I have to admit, to raise money for rice because you bring in 10 tons and it looks real good in the photo, but 3 months later, 4 months later, it's gone. So it's this ongoing issue, an ongoing need. It's really tough to be able to raise the money for this area. But it is a huge need. It's you might look at it as planting a seed in the hearts and lives of the people who receive the rice. Because when you plant that seed, that rice seed, what happens is that it'll grow and it'll produce a harvest. And so as we give rice, they know it's the foreigners that are doing it. Most of the people that I work with are Christians, and they know it's actually the Christian NGOs that are doing this work, that are giving them the coal, the medicine, the rice, and these other things. So we look at it as a way to create change and engage with people on the ground level inside North Korea. We can talk about engagement in humanitarian work as kind of ground up change in the land, where you're touching people's lives one at a time. And so we look at that rice as an investment in their lives. And then later, when North Korea's system has changed, they'll know, it was the foreigners that did all of this for us, especially these Christian organizations, who are by and large the main humanitarian organizations doing work in North Korea today. So that's the rice. One other area of humanitarian work is shining light in North Korea. I think everybody's familiar with the famous 2000 satellite photo of the peninsula where you can see the dot Pyongyang, and you see down here South Korea, you see Seoul, Gyeonggi province. It's like a Christmas tree. And in the north, it's really pitch black. And 14 years later, a few months ago, from the ISS, one of the astronauts took a photo of Korea, and not much had changed in 14 years. It's still a place of literal darkness. And in the countryside, especially, you walk outside at night, it's pitch black. They say that the only way you know that someone's walking towards you on the road is if you see the glow of the tip of their cigarette. Otherwise, if they're not smoking, they'll have passed by you. You would never have known that they were on the road with you. And so actually, the first time I was in North Korea was the year 2007, and it was raining. I walked outside of the hotel. You had to walk out of the hotel to go in the hotel from the restaurant. And I walked and I stepped in a puddle because there was no light. I couldn't see where I was going, so splash. I stepped in this puddle, and I was like, oh no, it's my only pair of shoes. Dang it, I'm in North Korea. What will I do? I should have brought a flashlight. I've seen this satellite photo. I know what it's like here. I thought, what about batteries? That might be tough. Then I thought about those no battery flashlights. They have these ones where you shake it. It has a coil and a magnet, and it creates its own electricity. And I thought, if I had one of those, that would be perfect. But what about if I had this flashlight? I could hand it off to somebody else, and then they wouldn't have to walk in the darkness. And all of this was going through my mind when I stepped in this puddle. Well, the long story short was that we ended up with these no battery lanterns, which we can use a hand crank. Seen these?
My son loves this.
You have one?
Yeah.
Awesome. One of these ones?
Yeah, it's very similar.
Oh, very similar.
Crank it out.
Yeah.
You guys
So
ever seen one like that?
this is what we call appropriate technology for a place like North Korea. If you wind it for a minute, you get 10 minutes of light. And these have been sent all over the north. If you look at that, you say, man, that's cool. I want one of those. That's good for camping, any campers. Or if maybe there's a typhoon and the power goes out, you got your emergency light. It's a great thing to have if for the car breaks down. You probably don't have cars here, but anyway, I've got one in my car. Well, if you go to my website at givelnkministries.org, you can actually do a one-for-one giving on this. If you donate Iman won, 20,000 won, we'll send you one lantern, and we'll give one to people in North Korea on your behalf. So you're welcome to sign up for that on my giving site if you're interested. And we have sent over 7,500 of these lanterns. You can pass that around. 7,500 of these lanterns all throughout North Korea. And
Work for a living. They're all like China stuff.
yes, you know who this is, Sarah. My friend giving a lantern to a gal at Gumgang. This is at an old folks home. And this is one of our bus drivers. He was so excited when he got that lantern because he had an emergency light for his bus. So he was walking down the road with his swinging lantern. He was super excited. And one thing they all say when they get the light is they say, now we can see. Now we can see. Because when you get the light, it changes your life. I was at a restaurant and there was a power outage, pitch black. We were trying to pay and no light. Couldn't even see the money. It was dark. Somebody ran out to the truck, got a lantern, brought it in, put it on the counter, and they said, oh, that's awesome. Now we can see. We said, you know what, you can keep it. Next time the power goes out, you'll have light. And so that's what we're doing to try and help the darkness situation inside North Korea today.
That sounds so biblical. That there be light.
Other area is clean water. This one is a kind of humanitarian/business opportunity that we have. Many people in North Korea, they have water, but they don't have access to clean water. It's like water issues anywhere in Africa or undeveloped countries where you have agricultural runoff, you have human waste, you have animal waste that pollutes the water source. And so this well actually happens to be downslope from a toilet, which, as you can imagine, when it rains is not a good thing. And I don't know if you can see, this is a clinic where they actually were carrying the water by buckets to the clinic. So it's water that you have to hand carry a distance, and then when you get the water, it's not clean. So this is a huge need inside North Korea today. I was basically standing over this well, looking at it going, how can I help this situation? And the idea was to start drilling wells inside North Korea to get deep water. In 2012, in November, we actually brought our own well drilling rig inside North Korea. You saw it on the video. And this guy that's operating it's a well driller from Montana. He's got over 25 years of well drilling experience. And I asked him, he lived here in Seoul. I said, hey, do you want to go to North Korea with me? He said, yeah, sure, why not? So we went in and we developed this plan. And now we're drilling wells as a business, actually. And this is in the Rasan Economic Development Zone. Is anybody familiar with Rasan? This is the northeast corner of North Korea, and it's an international economic zone. So we can actually have a wholly foreign-owned business there. So I've partnered with an organization, a business there, that is doing transportation, they're doing automotive work, and now they're doing well drilling as the three main thrusts of their business. And so we're able to actually do for-profit work for Chinese business people that come into that zone, for fisheries, people are coming and setting up factories, our local community of NGOs that needs wells. But the goal is not only to have a sustainable business, but then to take the profits, a portion of the profits, and go out to villages and actually drill the wells as a humanitarian work. So this is actually, it's at a kindergarten, which is at a village called Gulpo, which is right next to the sea. And they had a really bad water situation. It was mixed seawater and fresh water. We call it brackish water. And that water was really, really not good for their health. So what we were able to do is go in and we actually drilled 2 wells. One was for the kindergarten and another one was for the main village. And so now they have 2 wells to have clean water in the village to supply for the people. You can see the gal here. She's the kindergarten principal. And she's actually got the first water from the well in that bottle there. She was so excited that she wanted to get that water. That's the first water she could drink it. And then one of our workers, our team, is actually testing the water pressure, and he's shooting it at the boys there. So they're having a great time as they drill this well. So we're able to train up a team of local workers, and these are the 2 main guys, and they're able to drill wells inside North Korea for our business and then go out to the villages. Last summer we did this village I just told you about, and another one with about 250 people. And at that village, they were up on the hill doing the work, and a grandma came up. She had the backpack with the sticks, and she set it down, and she went up to one of our workers, actually this guy right here, Chung Chol, and she told him that she grew up in that village, and they never had clean water. And this was the first time, and she was crying. And then these guys started crying because they realized the impact of the work that they're doing. And everybody in the village knows that it's a foreign company that's doing this work, that did this work for them to provide clean water. Actually, last September, I was able to go to this village. And we were walking through about 5 foreigners and 2 Koreans. One was the manager for the village. And as we're walking through the village, some ladies saw us in a yard, and they said, "Why are the Russians here?" We're really close to Russia, so they thought we were Russian. And the village manager said, "Oh, they're not Russian, they're Americans." The ladies' faces were super shocked, like, "Oh my gosh, Americans are here?" It was just, that's just crazy for them. So he said, yeah, next year they're going to come back, and the well drilling machine that's been down the road, they're going to bring that here and do a well for us. And so we went back and we did the well, and here's this grandma who's expressing her appreciation. And they all knew, the whole village knew, that it's the Americans that are doing this for them. It's a huge impact in the humanitarian side, a huge impact by training these guys of how to run this operation so that hopefully someday in the future they can have their own company drilling wells for their people inside North Korea. So it's So that's the humanitarian and business side of things, of how we can engage with North Korea, how we can see people's lives impacted and touched from the ground up. There's another avenue, and that's the tour avenue. Who saw that article in, I think it's Korea Herald, about the surfing camp inside North Korea? All right, that was me. I'm on the end there with the bodyboard. And the story on this is I'm from Hawaii. And when I came to Korea, I thought, I want to surf in Korea, but I also want to catch waves in North Korea. And so I started to go there, and I asked them about surfing, and they said, we don't know about surfing. I mean, waves are dangerous, right? That's the attitude. I said, no, we can ride the waves. They said, we don't know about that. So actually in 2011, I went to do a rice project, and there was a typhoon that had come through. And in surfer terms, it was going off. It was amazing. The waves were on fire. I was going crazy. So we're bumping down the dirt road along the coast, and I've got my nose glued to the window of the bus, and I'm like, oh my gosh, look at that left, and just going crazy. My team is laughing at me. I couldn't go out because I didn't have gear and I didn't have time. But what I said to myself is, I have to catch waves here. In fact, I want to be the first person that catches a wave in North Korea, which, as far as I know, I am the first person. I've got a photo, which I don't have here, but photo to prove it. So I went in 2012 with a group that does water filter distribution. They're surfers. And we were able to do water filter distribution, but we didn't get to surf. I thought, oh man, my dream's not coming true. So I kind of gave it up. And the following year, I took my family into North Korea on a tour. But I kind of thought, I don't want to give up this idea of surfing in North Korea. So I asked the people that I work with, the tourism people, can I do like a surf camp here where we'll bring equipment and we'll bring people and instructors, and we'll just show you guys what surfing is? They said, yeah, we can do that. So long story short is I put this group together, and in August we were able to go into North Korea and do this first ever surf camp where we shared the sport of surfing with about, well, there were 12 people that were the core of the participants in the class, and there were about, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 others that were able to get on surfboards during the experience. One was the bus driver. This is Mr. Kim. He's the first surfer in North Korea. And this up here, the guy on the bodyboard, actually my bodyboard's the bus driver. And there's one word that we have in surfing lingo that can express this photo. Stoked. He's stoked. You can see he's got the smile on his face. He's like, wow, this is really fun. And we got this little kid. I love this photo of this little kid on here on this surfboard. The people that we had were mainly tour guides from the tour company that were able to be our participants. And they picked it up really quickly. You can see Mr. Young there's got it. This is, can't remember her name, but this young gal, 20-something gal. We got some awesome waves. There was another typhoon, and we were able to catch waves. There's me up there in the corner. And so we had a great time sharing surfing with the local people in North Korea. And I've got a video of the surf camp. Do we have time for that? Okay. Videos are always better, right? Okay. Yeah, we'll wrap it up. All these videos are online. If you want, I can give you the address. All the people in the background are local people. There were about probably 1,000 people either on the beach or in the kind of forest area behind the beach. actually given to him in 2012 by an ex-professional surfer. You can't stand up on it yet. Out to be the best guy. We had a GoPro. We got water stuff. We got better. All local NK people hanging out at the beach. Got it. All of the participants said the same thing. They said, we used to think waves were dangerous, and now we know they can be really fun. Okay, so he said for peace, and that was an amazing moment where we could actually have an engagement with North Korean people on a level that I think has never been seen before. And that actually, after that moment happened, I kind of walked off and asked myself the question, did that really just happen? Because that's not supposed to happen here, but it did. It was an amazing thing. I just wanted to share this photo with you because it's hilarious. I don't know how this lady got on the surfboard. It's just an ajumma in North Korea somehow got on the surfboard. And I love her face. It's this terrified look. It's just so funny. But what I wanted to just close with is this idea of engagement with North Korea on these varying different levels. And I think if we're honest, we can say that the current policies haven't produced positive results. But if we go in with a different attitude, and an attitude of engagement, that we can see positive results. And I think the surfing camp, all of the humanitarian work, business, these different avenues really prove that there are things that are possible in North Korea today that maybe haven't been possible in the past if we're willing to engage with them. They are very open to engaging with the outside world. So we really should take the opportunity that's presented to us to go into North Korea, to interface with them, with people like the tour guides who were the participants. These are all high-level Pyongyang people. And if these people, if their minds are opened up, then if all of Pyongyang's minds opened, then that means it's going to impact the entire country. So these are the opportunities that exist today that I want to share with you. And as people who I guess are going to be maybe in the area of policy making in the future, I hope that you can have the idea that engagement is often maybe the best channel that we can have to see relationships improve. Yeah, there are times when different policies are needed, but those policies, sometimes they've worn out their time. They're done, and we need to change. So that's where we are today with North Korea. So thanks for your time. Mike.
Okay, thank you, Peter. All right, so let's do a quick Q&A. I think some of you might have questions, and then we can introduce a second group of speakers, and then we can do a general Q&A. Okay. So who has questions? Okay, I encourage everybody to speak, especially English learners. Okay, this is a good opportunity for you guys to practice your English. Okay, so I encourage everybody to ask questions. Come on, nobody has a question? And then and also for the final project, I'm gonna ask you guys for like a critical summary of everything you learned. So I guess I want you guys to take notes and really learn and engage with the different speakers that we have. Okay. Come on, anybody? Yes. Can you come up? Yes, come on up. What's your name? Okay. You can shake hands with the speaker too. Okay. What's your name?
My name is Hyokyu.
Okay. Everybody say hi, Hyokyu.
Hi,
you. Okay.
Thanks for the presentation. It was really good. And I have a question of were there any obstacles doing all the constructions and activities in the territory of North Korea? Because there should be many regulations regulating the foreign people who's from especially the democratic countries. So were there any problems with doing the digging things? And
when I share with you all of these things, I'm sharing with you the result, but it was a long, hard road to get there. Especially the well drilling was, a year-and-a-half process from when we got the rig inside to actually really operating efficiently and having a crew that could do the work, and working with the government to figure out even how to do it, because they'd never had a foreign well drilling company there, so they didn't know how to do it. So we had to go through this big, long process of working it out. How do we as a foreign company go to do jobs for profit and then to go out into villages? And so no, it wasn't always easy. There were many, many obstacles. But one of the things that you have to have in your mind when you go to work in North Korea is flexibility and then patience. Really, really, those are the two keys for working in North Korea: flexibility and patience.
Yeah. You want to keep your face off camera, right?
Yeah, that would be best.
Okay.
Thanks.
That sounds good. We want to keep those. We want to respect people's privacy.
So for me, it's not a matter of privacy so much as just security issue, because I do go there and I just want to make sure that, especially if I speak candidly, that nothing I say comes back to haunt me when I go there. I want to go and come back. So that's why I want to keep the security issue.
Don't show your pictures to any government. Okay? Pictures are us today. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else?
how did you negotiate with government with flexibility?
Well, that's a really, really long process of. It's just step by step, and then realizing that everybody wants their cut. So it might start off with one bureau, and then all of a sudden this bureau says, "Oh no, we have to, be involved," and then this bureau has to. Before you know it, you've got 4 or 5 bureaus involved, and everybody has their opinion and their idea of what they want out of it, and so it just takes a long time to work through all of those things. So I can't say exactly what the process was step by step, except for that it was long and difficult. But they knew what our heart was to be a blessing to their country, and so they really were willing to work with us as long as we were able to do it in a way that was respectful, and they were willing to work with us to figure out how to make this happen.
Sure. Just as a follow-up, when you say cut, was there any corruption involved? Like a little soju here and there?
No, we don't do that. We don't bribe.
Okay.
But there was a competition there in the market, and that guy wanted his cut, and it actually turned out that it didn't work out in his favor.
Okay.
He didn't get his cut. So there's a story behind that. But there's those things that happen in North Korea. You just have to be able to learn how to navigate the waters.
Okay. So you don't. So no overt bribery is needed.
We don't. We definitely will take the position of if we'll scratch your back if you scratch our back.
Okay.
That's no problem. We'll do you a favor, you do us a favor later. We don't think that's bribery. Bribery is when you pay somebody off, right?
Right.
And so we're definitely in forming good relationships. We do absolutely go that route of doing people favors, making us favors, and down the road you might find yourself in a position where you did a favor for the security bureau, and you really need a favor back from them, and that's when you cash in. So.
What would an example of a favor be? Is that kind of
something needs to get pushed through.
Okay.
Something needs to get pushed. And if you did a well for the Cooperation Bureau, and then all these other bureaus come together and say, we're not sure about this foreign well drilling company operating here. Well, who's going to stand up for you?
Okay.
And that's what happened.
Okay. So, for the OCW audience, okay, let me turn the camera back on. So the basic idea is that, no over corruption, but like any bureaucracy, we help each other. We help them, they help us.
Yeah, it's all about relationships.
Right, building relationships.
All about relationships.
Right. Okay, thank you. All right. Great. Anybody else? Grad students, undergrad? Do you guys have any questions? Foreigners, Koreans?
I'd like to encourage you that if you're interested in going to North Korea, if you're a foreign passport holder, not South Korean, that you should go. Because most of the information that you have available to you, it's actually probably outdated. And even you won't have had the big picture. You'll have little parts of the picture. Some of those are still legitimate, but many of those are out of date. So what I would encourage you to do is take a tour. There are big tour companies you can go with. Go to North Korea, see for yourself what it's really like if you're interested, and meet the people, and engage with them, have a relationship with them. It'll really broaden your scope and your view of what the country's really like, and then what are the possibilities for the future. If you're interested in politics or business, there are great opportunities in the future for engaging with North Korea. But it really starts with going there and meeting the people.
Sure. I had 2 questions, but Emily first. Just a minute. Okay. All right. Okay, Emily wants to go on a tour.
But first of all, I haven't been able to find out if there's, because I have a South Korean visa, because I'm a student. Would that be a problem?
Don't put that on your application.
No, but when I have my passport, I'm going to give them my passport, right? And they'll see the visa.
They'll see your visas, but you just won't put it on your application. Of course,
Okay.
they'll have your passport. I spend the vast majority of my time here, but my permanent address is in the United States.
Yeah.
And so
Okay.
anything on my official documents that go to North Korea all have that permanent address on it.
Okay.
And as long as you do that, you'll be fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And also, I've just been able to find tours that 5 days, and I can't go 5 days because I have school. So do you know if there's a tour that go for like 2 or 3 days?
If you look up Crown, Krahun, Krahun tour, and that won't be through Pyongyang, it'll be through Rajan Sunbong area, but they can do those kinds of short tours.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So if there are other people that are interested, they'll put together a package for you. Krahun.
Yeah, that's perfect.
We can do that.
Okay.
Yeah, so there are ways to go.
Okay. Perfect.
But you'll have to go up to Yanji, China, in order to go.
Yeah, but I'm prepared to go to China, but it was just like this 5-day thing. I can't do it.
I gotcha. I should mention that right now there's an Ebola travel ban in North Korea. So until that's lifted, which I assume it will be, just several months over the winter. So you'll have to wait until that ban's lifted.
Yeah, then I'm not here, but until next time.
That's probably the safest place in the world to go and not get Ebola.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you.
Did you have a question? No? Okay. Oh, okay.
The travel channel is the best, easiest channel. It happens to be the most expensive channel, but it's the most flexible and easiest channel.
That's fine. I had 2 questions. One is, well, just to play like the devil's advocate, some critics might say, isn't this kind of like, helping the North Korean government, right? Or the North Korean elite, right?
Okay.
And then, do you get a lot of like criticism from like fellow Christians here in South Korea? And then, how do you respond to that?
Okay. For the first, we should not confuse appeasement with engagement. They're 2 different things.
Okay.
So engagement is not appeasement. And when we go to North Korea, yes, the travel company is run by the government, and it is a money-making business for them, but what's the impact versus the cost? So people say, oh, we're supporting the government, or you're just engaging with these tour guides. Well, that's not true. Actually, you're engaging with the tour guides, the bus drivers, the hotel workers, the restaurant workers, the rest stop people. I mentioned hundreds of people on the beach. We hung out with locals from Hamhung that were just on the beach partying. And so we were able to engage with way more people than just the tour guides. So when you look at the cost versus the benefit, when you take a look at this question, the benefit is huge. And you really don't see that unless you actually go and experience it. So I understand the criticism, but in my experience, I think it's well worth the cost because we're able to have impact in ways that you just couldn't imagine, in ways that actually have never been open before. So when you're hanging out on the beach with people from Hamhung and they see your big camera, or we were able to take our cell phones in there, our iPads. When they see we had all this surf equipment, we've spent all this money to come there. They know. I mean, it's an impact on their lives. What these foreigners have a lot of money. What's going on?
Sure.
So it's a huge impact. To the second question, as far as criticism from Christians in South Korea, I don't get any criticism from people here. They really are happy that I'm able to go and try and help the situation.
Sure. Final question is, especially for my Korean students, South Korean citizens, how, if they wanted to get involved, what are some opportunities? For example, can they intern at the LNKM? Okay. Do you offer like internship opportunities?
I'm developing those possibilities now. So if you're interested, I'd be happy to talk to you. Our organization is a young organization, so we're growing and building it. So I'd be happy to talk to you about those opportunities. Sure. The one thing you can't do as a South Korean, or it's not impossible, but almost impossible to go there. So you definitely have to look at other creative ways to impact North Korea in a positive light.
Sure. Are any, for those, well, foreign students or Korean students, are any of you guys interested in interning for this organization? Okay, 1, 2, 3. How about the Koreans? I thought you guys wanted the specs. Okay, half Korean. All right, just kidding. Just none of the Korean students are interested. Maybe.
Another question.
Okay. Yeah, sure. we'll do one more question, and then let's to the new speakers.
Sorry, I was on the bathroom. Maybe you already did. But have you followed up with these tour guides? Because what I read is that you can go there and you could be like maybe provocative or ask stuff or like giving lamps like you did and stuff. But you will be fine probably, but the North Koreans won't.
Well, it's a thing that we really have to be careful how we engage with the people there, because my worst fear is that I get them in trouble somehow. And I couldn't live with myself if I caused somebody to go to the labor camp, for example. So I don't want to even go there. Everything that we do is above boards. So all the gifts that we give them, all the interaction that we have with them, it's all above boards.
Okay.
So we don't do anything that's shady and under the table officially. We can't have relationships with people. And for example, if they ask us questions, we're free and open to answer those questions. So when it comes to religious subjects, for example, if they ask me why I'm a Christian or what I believe, I am free to actually share with them what my beliefs are, as long as they ask me. And that all comes out of relationship. So what they do with that information, do they report what their discussion was with me? I don't know. That's in their hands. But as long as they are asking me, then I'm free to answer the questions.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, great. Do you mind being on camera, or is it's okay?
I don't mind.
Okay, all right, sure.
I'm already
handsome
famous.
Man. Yes.
Uh,
Okay.
Hi guys, it's an honor and privilege to be here.
Your name?
My name's Steve Cho. I lived stateside, United States. I was born in Providence, Rhode Island. Grew up mainly in Miami, Florida. So I'm a Floridian. Anybody here from the U.S.? Not really, right? One person might be from the U.S. Okay, from the U.S. Okay, so these terms might not be relevant to you guys. I can speak freely because everybody knows me as a pastor. Is that correct? You know that a pastor is coming to speak today.
Pastor, and also somebody works on
Yeah,
Korea,
yeah.
Power to Power.
So 2009, there was a missionary named Robert Park. He was a second generation. What we mean by second generation is his parents were from Korea. He was born and raised in the U.S. Had this unique conviction for the people of North Korea. So Robert Park took a letter and a Bible, and he wanted to meet Kim Jong-il at the time and just let him know that that he loves them and that the people love the people of North Korea. We're not here to attack or invade. We're here to love the people of North Korea. On Christmas Day 2009, he crossed over, a friend of mine, and he would be immediately captured, tortured, and to this day he can't have children because they tortured him physically where he can have children. And so Robert Park, he got out, but in 2010 February we had a prayer meeting for Robert Park. About 400 pastors and youth workers got together in the city of Atlanta, Georgia. And when we prayed that day, I had no real idea what's going on in North Korea. All I knew was that something bad was happening to the people there during the famine, and I knew about these things, but I really didn't have any clear idea what was going on. And as they were looping these videos of North Korea, and they asked us to pray for the people of North Korea, I just felt like I was praying from my lips. You know, you guys understand that? It was like, God, could you please help the people of North Korea? I didn't feel like I was really praying for them. Have you ever really prayed for something? But anyways, I was not really praying for them. And so at that moment, I said, Father, give me your heart for North Korea. And I literally felt a kick to my side. I fell to the floor. My chest started caving in, and I just started screaming like I was possessed. I mean, it was a man. I don't scream like that. I don't cry like that. But I was just like this thing rolling on the floor, just screaming for the people of North Korea. So the Lord instantaneously gave me a glimpse of his heart for those people of North Korea. And so on that floor, I promised him that I would go one day, that my life would be spent for the people of North Korea. And I didn't know what that was going to look like. I don't know when that was going to happen. I was a youth pastor at the time, a small youth ministry in Miami. But the Lord in the past 2 years has like exponentially sped up this whole process for North Korea to the point where my wife and our 2 boys have been invited to live in community in Pyongyang. And so I didn't know how the Lord was going to open those doors. I didn't know how that was going to happen. I can't speak beyond that point simply because you guys are recording. But I wanted to share maybe about 5 minutes about something that I felt coming here in March. I came here for a vision trip. I lived in 37 years in America. I served in the U.S. Army 6 years. I was a U.S. Army interrogator. I got trained in the language. They use Chosun. They have a different dialect of Korean. They take out all Hanja characters, all American vocabulary. Like there's a word probably for taco. You know, there's probably a word for pizza. There is no, in their language, it's purely Korean. And I would say, if anything, they are Korean. They are more Korean than South Koreans. And so these people, so I had to learn the culture, I had to learn their, and so when I was in the Army, I learned more about North Korea, the mindset. I didn't know what was actually going on in North Korea, but the mindset, I had a clear idea. And the way they see us, when I say us, people who are outside of Korea, they just see them as non-Koreans. They're not Chosunjo. They're not people of Chosun. If you guys know, in 1897, the kingdom of Chosun came to a close. We had Japanese occupation, and no longer were we, at that point, a nation of Chosun, but we were all separated by the time Korea, after World War II, Korea had its own internal issues. That's why we're now North and South Korea. But before that, before all this happened, this was a kingdom called the Chosun Dynasty. And I just want to share that because there are people who speak Chosun language in China. There are people that speak Chosun language in Mongolia. There are people that speak Chosun language in Japan. In 1945, many of you guys might know this already, as America was bombing Japan, the Japanese citizens moved towards the city of Kyoto because there is a very historical city. And in Kyoto, to preserve the historical sites, the Americans were kind enough not to bomb Kyoto. So where would the people move to? Kyoto. And so they needed to build an airport. So they would bring about 40,000 Chosun people, Korea people, to Japan. And those people to this day live there, right? 70 years later, they still live there. 4th generation Chosun people. South Korea did not give them citizenship, but North Korea did. And so guess what? They learned Chukche. So some of you guys ask, how can I visit North Korea? How can I know this ideology? How can I get a glimpse of it? Just go to Japan. They're still there. 3rd, 4th generation speaking the same dialect, trying to preserve their Koreanness. The more I learn about the Chosun people, the more I realize our own language separates us from North Korea. By us calling ourselves Korean or South Korean or Hanguk Saram, that language to them is so, it pushes them away, saying that these Koreans have sold out. So when they look at South Koreans, they look at people that have pretty much prostituted themselves to the world. Do you understand that? That's the way they view this nation.
You guys all cosmopolitans.
You know, they see us not, and so when they think of reunification, why are they building nuclear heads? Why are they thinking of military action? Because they actually believe that's how they're going to save South Korea. Their mentality is that they're going to save the people of South Korea, restore their Chosunness, because they've lost it. And if we really think about South Korea today, we have to kind of be able to confess we did go extremely global, nothing wrong with that, right? But to their point of view, this globalization of South Korea, to them, is the enemy. And so when they think of Americans, like when he came across, oh, Americans are here, to them it is crazy because the enemy of enemies has now entered their land. From a young age, they are taught that Americans are, we're the axis of evil. And so many of that ideology is we're making cracks and we're making breakthroughs into it. But the reason why I'm here, all right, the reason why I'm in South Korea, Seoul, so why, Steve, are you in Seoul? Why are you a pastor in Seoul? It's kind of like this. We have South Korea is the largest missionary sending, second largest or the largest sending nation in the world. This little tiny land is impacting China, has helped spark the underground church movement where there's about 40,000 new believers every day. The movement is moving all the way to India, and we hope to see the Great Commission, what we call the Great Commission, which is Matthew chapter 28, to go and make disciples of all nations. We believe we'll see that in our lifetime. And so when I think of South Korea, I think of a nation, the church in America has declined, the church in Europe has steeply declined, and the church in Korea will decline also. It is declining. In the past 20 years, we went from 30% on campus, Christians on campus, to now hovering less than 5%. So about 95% of your student body probably is not a Christ follower, okay? And so this language might even be so different. When I'm talking to you about Christ, discipleship, commission, all these things could be seen it could seem out there, but I'm telling you, there's going to be a resurgence. There is a new movement within the church saying that we've done some things wrong, and we need to start turning things around. There's 4 different. I don't want to go into this now. This takes time, but I would love to unpack this more. I believe that Christ is doing something fresh with the young people in South Korea. I've been trained. I'm from the Southern Baptist Convention, which is the largest Protestant denomination in the world. I've come from the headquarters of the Southern Baptist Convention. They've trained me for over a year to basically, if you think of like Hulk, before he's Banner, right? He's Banner before, but he gets injected with these gamma rays, right? Or if you think of like any mutation in X-Men, I'm here to mutate the church. And we have people that are rising up that have this unique DNA of what church should look like ongoing 5, 10, 20 years from now. Because this North Korea process, it's going to take time. And the Korean church, the South Korean church, is not ready for reunification. If anything, God is holding back the reunification because we're just going to bring a lot of franchising to North Korea. And that's not what God wants. He wants to bring his love. He wants to bring true sacrifice, people who will truly love their communities. And so that language I'll teach you guys, I guess, or share with you guys next time I meet you guys. Yeah.
Anyway, let's take a short bathroom break, about maybe like 4 minutes, okay? And then we can come back so we can hear more speakers, okay? And then I'll turn the mic off after the bathroom break, so you can say whatever you want that's confidential, okay? And then also I just, while you're doing your bathroom break, I want you to kind of think, like why is it that the vast majority of the NGOs working in North Korea or the NGOs working with iminja, migrants in South Korea, why are they Christian? Why do they speak this God language? Okay, I think this is something very unique to the Korean situation. So we're studying like international organization, international politics. So I think that's why we're very glad that you're here. People who are directly working, engaging with North Korea, and seeing what is this relation? What is this very interesting, unique relationship between politics and religion? Okay.